This is the voice of the Report of the Week, signing on. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone listening and watching, wherever you may be it on your computer, watching this on YouTube, if you downloaded this and you're listening to this, however, on your whatever, your smartphone, your iPod, your iPad. Somehow you got it hooked up to your television and you have the whole family gathered around it and you're listening to this. Whatever it may be. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. That means a lot to me. So thank you. So this episode ain't, or isn't, is not your usual VORW show, although is there really such a thing as a usual one? Regardless. So this episode is our year in review. Now, of course, it's the first year in review we've ever done, because it's the first year we've had the VORW show going for. So, with that being said, we're going to do a year in review. It's not going to be, and I'm sorry to disappoint, but it's not going to be a year in review of current world events. It's going to be a year in review of events that happened in Report of the Week land. Mostly, concerned with my channel, maybe a few things that went down in life, but for the most part, things that happened in this channel of mine. So that's where things stand. So we'll just take it month by month. We'll just talk about some in-depth things, and so that'll be that. So I can't guarantee you that this will be, an episode that's, as long as the last one. I can't guarantee you that at all. It may only be about a half hour in length, but, we'll talk for as long as we need to talk, and that'll be that. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Maybe sip on a cold Monster energy drink while you watch this. Honestly, I could go for a nice hot cup of water or tea or coffee or something. Quite cold right now. Got cold in here. Cold in the house. Almost 65. So, yeah. My hands are freezing cold, and so be it. I guess I could wear gloves, but that's well, I guess I could do that. But I always want to have a good grip on the microphone here. So anyways, let's sit down at our desk. That's for the other show, okay. So 2014, let me take a sip here. I'm actually going for Red Bull tonight. Going for a nice cold Red Bull. It's been sitting there in the refrigerator for, long enough to keep it cold. I'm not hungry, but I probably should be eating right now, but I'm just no appetite. Oh well. We'll get to it later. How about we read a few letters just before we start anything else, and then we'll do the year in review. All right. How's that sound? We'll read maybe like 5 letters or so, 4 or 5 letters, and then we'll do the year in review. That sound good? I can hope. This reads, you should go to McD's and get the McLand Air and Sea Burger. Beef, chicken, and fish. All together on one glorious, artery-clogging burger. It's one of those hidden menu items that you can actually order. Love the videos. F the haters. Well, thank you for your remarks and your comments. The McLand Air and Sea Burger. I haven't heard about that, but I actually looked it up. Looks very interesting, and as it may be, as you described it, artery clogging, but maybe it'll be something worth trying at some point one day. So thank you for bringing that up. I don't know if what you're doing is a joke or not, but it's hilarious. And you seem like a genuinely funny individual. Keep going. I can assure you it is no joke, but if the words do not speak for themselves, you can look at how long I've been doing this for and the amount of videos I've produced, and if it were a joke, that would be some very admirable dedication to keep the joke going for so many years. So it is no joke. Keep that in mind. Boy, I'm glad I'm having this Red Bull, that's for sure. And finally, hey, Report of the Week, greetings from Ireland. I'm a casual watcher. Always enjoy your reviews. Just wondering if you would ever consider trying to cook your own food, possibly follow a recipe online and then review it. Plus, it's good fun and still to learn. Thank you. Have a good one. Hope your health issues turn out alright. Best regards, AR. Yeah, I'm no master chef, that's for sure. But, maybe it's worth a try one day to, see how that's going and what have you. But I'm definitely not a professional chef that you see on, whatever that may be, Chopped on Food Network, right? It's always a good show to watch. So just a few letters read. So, the year in review, 2014. Oh, my gosh. I swear, honestly. 2014, where did it go? I don't know. It just seems literally like last week. Not last week, maybe last month. We're all sitting there New Year's Day, or New Year's Eve, watching 2014 come in, leaving 2013, welcome 2014, and now here we are going into 2015. I don't know what happened. I don't know where the time went. 2014 for me was a bad year, but then it ended good. But it was a lot of it was a very bad year for me. So what we're going to do is just take this month by month. It's mostly going to be focusing on this channel itself, what happened over the year, and any developments. Do a little bit of channel history here. And maybe we'll get into some other things, but for the most part it will be about the channel. Alright. Okay, so I'm feeling like I'm in the mood to just be like the traditional lecturer. I'm going to pace around the room like I often like to do. So I have a card here. I did take notes. I'm sorry to do that. Sorry to ruin your show, but I took notes. And then we'll do that. So 2014 was, as I said, a year of both good and bad. It honestly, I don't know. When I started it off in January and February and March, April, May, even a bit into June, it was just awful. Every single month was awful for me. Just wasn't good. There was nothing good about it. But, then things brightened up in the end. And I guess that's important that, the present I'm doing good, and a bad year ended on a very good note. So I guess that's important. I guess that's what's most important, how things are at the present, So January of 2014 started off as a continuation of 2013. Almost every year starts off as a continuation of the year before. And sometimes the entire year is just a continuation of the year before. Not really much can change sometimes, but January of 2014 started out. First upload of 2014 was a very simple Planet Wings review, running on empty food review, and clearly the first upload of 2014, running on empty review, clearly reflects what the most predominant videos of 2014 would prove to be. That being the running on empty videos. Sorry about that. I had something in my eye, so I had to, to rub that, of course. So, of all the series, I think Running on Empty was the most popular and the most often produced. So, we start off with a Planet Wings review. Very simple, going with a white shirt and tie, and a little Santa tie for the holiday season that was coming to a close. So, January wasn't a good month for me. The first month was not a good one. I didn't get off to a good start, if you will. It's just how it happened. It's just how things were. Nothing I can do about that now. But I was depressed. I was, and you know, we're not gonna get into that. It's not a lecture on depression or, you know, my mental state or any of that. It's just a lecture on the channel itself. The report of the week, not about me. So we'll try to stray away from that as much as possible. But sometimes the lines cross, and we'll just do what we got to do. But January, I was depressed. I was depressed in October, November, December of 2013, and that did not stop as soon as the new year turned. I was depressed in January as well. And that was mostly because of this site known as 4chan. And we're not going to bash anyone here. That's not what I'm about. I'm just telling it as it is, and I'm just telling a story here, so just keep that in mind. But it was about a site, mostly a site known as 4chan. Some of their boards, you know, were fans, right, of me. And often, I was constantly talked about 24 hours a day in a very negative manner. You know, people calling me this and that and the other thing, and, you know, criticizing me at every single thing I did, no matter what it was, had to criticize and insult me, and eventually I was getting a few threats against my life, and, you know, people were saying, you know, I hope you die, you know, if I see you, I'm gonna kill you, if I see you, I'm gonna kill you. All these things, you know. And then when they found out I had depression, oh, well, let's keep doing this to him, I hope he kills himself, you know. All those lovely thoughts and remarks and what have you. But anyway, so it was mostly because of that, and, you know, having to deal with that every single day, you know, really did something to you, or at least to me, you know, just didn't make me happy, and it made me come to hate myself because of that, because that was all I was exposed to, the only type of feedback and reception and what have you I was getting from this channel, and, you know, the videos which reflected me, you know, as a person. The only feedback I was getting from that were these extremely hateful and, you know, insults and threats and what have you from 4chan, and I would see that every single day and I'd reflect on it, and I eventually took that information, which I now know were just, you know, BS insults and what have you, and, you know, all that. I took that in as fact, and that made me come to hate myself, you know, for who I was. And, you know, maybe we'll talk about all that another day, but that was just a, you know, a part of my life, and it wasn't a happy month, January. No day was a good day. I didn't wake up and, you know, welcome the day. But, in January, a memorable video was the grilled stuffed nacho review. And that was, you know, that was a video of harsh debate and harsh criticism, if you will. Because when I tried the grilled stuffed nacho, and I mean this with all honesty, it was one of the worst things I've ever eaten. It was just god-awful. I mean, it was, oh, gosh, it was awful. Tasted horrible, and it just, oh, gosh, I don't even want to think about it. It was just disgusting. But it was a lot of harshly criticized because people were saying, oh, you know, it was just yours that was made the wrong way. Go back and review it again. And I say, you know, I reviewed it as I got it. I'm not going to go back and try it again and give it another shot. I ordered that just like anyone else would. I got what I got, and I reviewed it as it was, and what I got was awful. I'm not going to change that. I'm not going to go back and say, oh, well, you know, I didn't like this one. We'll try it again so I could give it a better review. That's just not how I operate. You know, I give it one shot, and if it's good, it's good. If it's awful, is it awful? So it generated a lot of criticism, especially after I realized it was even worse than the rating that I gave it. So I made another video to change the rating, and it is currently the lowest rated item I have ever reviewed, because it was just disgusting, it was awful, there wasn't one good thing about it. But, you know, it just was what it was. Just wasn't a fan of it, and I just wanted to make that very clear. Also, January was a month in which I produced an awful lot of reviews. And I had a bit of a backlog. Not too much, but, you know, enough to go for maybe, you know, a week or two if I wanted to take a break. I had a little backlog going. So those are the significant events of January of 2014. So the next month comes, it's winter, still. Winter still. February of 2014. The very first video of February of 2014 is the Failing with the Darts video. Could call it part 2, but I called it the 2014 edition because that's what it was. We made the famous Failing with Darts video back in 2012. So 2014, we do it again. I said, you know what, we're going to do that. It's the month of the 3-year anniversary of Review Bra channel. And why not start it off with, you know, a little fun? So that's what we did. And we made the video. I had a lot of fun doing it. But the primary purpose of the video itself was not to make, you know, just to you know, shoot some darts and get on camera. It wasn't, that was not the point of that video. You see, the point of that video was to actually clear up an issue that 4chan had with me. They were, you know, they were harshly criticizing my 2012 video, because at the end I decided to be a little sarcastic and a little humorous that, you know, went, I guess, over a lot of people's heads. Or maybe I wasn't clear enough expressing it, I don't know. But it gained a lot of harsh criticism against me, and, you know, people were, and I know some people aren't going to like this word, but I'm just going to say it again anyways. You know, and a lot of people were saying, you know, about what I did at the end of this video. I, you know, was pretending to shut the camera off in a rather violent manner. I thought everyone would know I was just joking around, but no one did. So they were all, you know, saying, "Oh, this is proof that he's a retard," you know. They're saying, "Oh, this is proof that he's got something wrong with him." And you know, I'll admit it. I know I'm not perfect, but, you know, I'm not like that, as they, you know, tried to portray me. So what I did, I don't know if that was a success or a failure, but I just tried to clear that up in the 2014 Failing with Darts video, to say, you know, I understand that at the end of the 2012 version, you know, I shut the camera off in a rather violent manner, and I was just doing that to joke around. I was just doing that to kind of, you know, almost a satirical manner to make fun of people who, you know, get super angry over something that really isn't a big issue at all, like shutting a camera off that had trouble getting off the first time. So that's why I did that, and I tried to use that as a, you know, as a way, the 2014 video, to try to use that as a means to try and communicate that to them and say, you know, that's not, you know, that's why I did that. But unfortunately, the effects were very limited. They just said, "Oh, he saw that and he's just trying to cover for himself now." You know, if there's one thing I'll credit with 4chan, they're the most stubborn group of people I've ever met. At least some of them. I know it's not one, collective commune or anything like that. And I understand that, so if any one of you from 4chan is listening, know that it's not, it's not like, oh, you're from 4chan, I hate you. It's nothing like that. It's just there's a lot of bad people on that site. Or at least a lot of people that hate me. But, what's done is done. February, again, just like January, wasn't a good month for me. My depression actually worsened. And that was the case. We'll talk about that later on. But February as well was the 3-year anniversary of my channel. So, February 20th, a historic day in this channel's history, the day at which this channel went on the air, and when the energy crisis sprouted its first episode and review. So, it was 3 years in 2014, soon to be 4 years, just a few months, 2 months, actually, or actually under 2 months, I guess, December 20th to January 20th, January 20th to February 20th, yeah, 2 months, under 2 months. So, it was a 3-year anniversary. We did a little something for that. We did an honorary Energy Crisis episode for the 3-year celebration. And even while I was very depressed at the time, I thought, you know what, we're going to try and keep this channel going for as long as possible. We are. But that attitude actually soon changed after I put the review up. I was just thinking in a very negative manner, and, sometimes it's just how we all think sometimes. But I was looking at myself and I was saying, why do you bother doing this crap anymore? All you do is you sit there, you try and put on a serious show with some, humorous aspects to it. You just try and be yourself and no one takes you seriously. Everyone just laughs at you and insults you. So, why freaking bother anymore? And that's what I was saying to myself in February of 2014. I was just saying, it's just pointless. There's no point anymore. No point to anything I do. Just a waste of time, and it's just making me feel awful about myself. So just stop doing this. And I deemed that there'd be an inevitable shutdown of this channel. So actually, right after the 3-year anniversary, talking days, I was getting ready to shut down the channel, just close the account, throw in the towel. And this wasn't the first time I intended on doing that either. I must have thought about doing that in late 2013. Must have thought about doing that at least 6 or 7 separate occasions. One of which I actually made a closure video. I was actually ready to upload it, or rather make it public. So I definitely come very close to closing this channel because it, in all honesty, it for the time it ruined my life, and it made me hate myself and hate life, and there was just no point in doing so anymore. And because of that, it made me lose the urge to produce content. It did. Just made me lose the urge completely and totally to produce content anymore, to make videos. So I stopped making them. I said, why bother? Well, why bother? So I had this backlog, and I said, alright, fine. When the backlog runs out, I shut it down. It's that simple. When I run out of videos, I'm shutting the place down. I'm shutting it down. That's it. I'm out of here. So that was, my plan. So things began to change in March. I took a lot of time off from making videos. I didn't produce a single video from, I didn't produce a single new video, new, the word in emphasis, from February 20th, almost until April 20th. So this backlog of videos from January and early February took me all the way through March. I didn't upload as frequently, maybe as I used to, but the backlog of videos was able to be there. So I was still able to upload content through March, and that gave me some time to think. So, March continues, March carries on. The backlog runs out March 25th, which, had I stuck to my original plan, the channel would have closed down. The Report of the Week would no longer exist once that would have happened. I just want to get the videos out of the way and then just shut it down. Well, of course that didn't happen. We're here right now, so what happened? What happened, review bruh? Did you wisen up a little bit? You go through some sort of drastic, mental change? Some sort of change in mindset? Were you enlightened? Well, I realized something. Having had nearly a month to just stop and think for a while about life and the channel and the future and what I do and what have you, I decided, you know what, I'm not going to shut it down, but I am going to change things a little bit. And thus came the creation of the VORW show. So, I formulated, I constructed, and I initiated the VORW show, which you are watching or listening to right now at this present time. So, the VORW show was actually a little different when we first started out. It really was. It was actually quite different. The VORW show was, first, I guess, came about, if you want to call it that, on March 25th, 2014, and was originally uploaded daily. The first VORW show was actually The Walking Dead. It was actually a summary and commentary on a Walking Dead episode, which I am a fan of still. Walking Dead's coming back, I think, in maybe February of 2015. Gosh, 2015. I can't get over that. It's 2015 already. I just can't, I can't, that doesn't register. But that's what it is. It's almost 2015. Time just went by fast. Guess that's how life is, but sometimes it's very slow, sometimes it's very fast. March 25th of 2014, though, was the first VORW program. And they were uploaded daily, though. And they were originally more like Idle Mind lectures, but in audio form. For instance, in VORW Show 2, we talked about, various topics in many of the early VORW programs. Nowadays, I'll just put the microphone up and I'll just spew out whatever comes to mind. But back then, let's get our train of thought. Back then, I had topics, and I actually planned out the shows. And I thought, alright, in this one I'm going to talk about this, this, and this, and so on and so forth. So it was more, I guess, maybe organized or more structured. Because I just had a topic and I stuck with it. But nowadays it's just, I suppose as some will call it, freestyle. Though I prefer to call it just, no boundaries at all. I just talk. So, for instance, VORW Show 2 was about bagels, cheap pens. Show 3 was about my pet fish, since deceased, wing collars, and wind. Show 4 was about comments, Domino's Pizza, and pocket watches. Show 7 was about the public bus, frozen pizza, and an important notice, and so on and so forth. So, we did that for a while, up until, I guess, up until, I guess, maybe show 20. After that, I just put general talk in the description because that's exactly what it was. Even up at show 20, I just stopped making outlines and I just talked. So, where were we? They were uploaded daily, originally as lectures. The backlog, as I said, ran out. Ran out March 15th, but from March 15th to April 1st, we didn't publish any reviews. I actually did find an old review that I did publish on April 1st, just to give it that one final push, into the next month, into April. That was the Planet Wings Jamaican Jerk food review. Jamaican me crazy. And going into April now. April was, it started off a little better, but then it got bad again for me. No videos were produced in April until April 16th. So considering how often videos were originally produced, in this channel, that's a long absence. It is. But we still produced VORW shows every day. So people, had something to listen to, something to know that I was still alive and still, working with this channel. But a lot of people didn't like the fact that I was exclusively producing VORW shows. And a lot of these people were the 4chan crowd because they wanted to see me as a video, in a video so I could find something to make fun of. I'm sorry to be so cynical about this, it's just the truth. So I'm not, I'm just reiterating the story pretty much. It's just what happened. This is how it happened. So a lot of people complained. They said, we don't want to hear it. Just give us a review. I don't care, just maybe publish a, VORW show whenever, but as long as you keep doing the reviews, I don't care. Well, I didn't listen. In fact, I actually made a pretty solid lecture series. I recommend it if this interests you. It was a, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-part lecture series, about 40 to 50 minutes an episode. 5-part lecture series on Shortwave, which was uploaded from April 7th until April 14th. And it was a VORW lecture series exclusively on shortwave and shortwave radio. And if you know me well enough, you know that shortwave radio is actually my biggest hobby and my biggest pastime. And I think it's pretty cool to listen to, broadcasts from all over the world. And I thought, I'm very passionate about this hobby. Why not utilize the VORW program to do a little lecture on it? Well, I did that. I spoke on it, and I could easily do it all over again because I just love talking about it. But what happened? Well, shortwave radio didn't go over as well as I maybe thought it might with the public. Some people said, I really liked the lecture, it's been very insightful, keep it up. But there were a lot of others that didn't like it. And, the YouTube inbox has actually since changed, but if I was here and I could look at the old YouTube inbox, I would read you a few of those, some pretty solid letters I got from people back then about that lecture series. But those have been since lost in time. But, no pun intended, a shortwave lecture received bad reception. It's the truth, though. It was badly received by many people. Constant complaints, and I'm fine with constructive criticism, but there's a line between constructive criticism, saying, well, shortwave isn't my thing, and, it would be nice, if you could still upload those videos, but maybe you could space them out a little more so, I could hear something that might pique my interest. There's a difference between that and someone saying, F you effing piece of S, I don't want to hear about this BS, where's my review? So there's a difference between the two, and a lot of, well, some people fail to realize that difference and think, oh, that's constructive criticism. But there's a difference, at least in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong, but there's a difference, in my opinion, at least, between constructive criticism and insults. And I was getting a real tasteful mix of both at the time because of that lecture series. So, again, I debated closing down the channel. I said, you know what? The reviews didn't go over well. I tried to do what I wanted to do with these VORW programs. I wanted to have a nice, podcast and audio show where I could just talk. That's what I wanted to do. I tried that out and that didn't work. So, I'm out. Why bother anymore? So, I threw in the towel for about, a few days at least. And that was pretty much what dominated my thoughts. And I thought, what am I going to do with this channel? This thing is just a gosh damn albatross, really. That's what it is. I just can't get rid of it. I try and help it out, and it just continues to just screw me over again and again and again. Why bother? Just, why bother? So, I thought about it for a while. But I decided to make some changes instead. I thought, you know what? People didn't like the lecture series. I'm going to make an apology for it. So I apologized for it. I did. I made an apology for it because I know they didn't like it. I guess I was received mixed also, but during that time I was just through with it. I got a lot of messages in my inbox during that time. Got about 100 in just a few days, which is incredible. And I didn't even read a single one. I just deleted it all and I said, I'm through with it. But my mind cleared that weekend. And I decided to make a new video, and I said, you know what, we're going to start anew. Something just clicked, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what it was that made me not completely lose hope. I said, no, we're going to change things. We're going to revise the broadcast schedule, and I'm going to return with new reviews. So, starting on April 16th, I believe, we began uploading new reviews, and also VORWs, but rather infrequently. But we changed things around and began starting uploading infrequently. So maybe one every few days, not every other day. So, we go on into May. Alright, so into May we go. So May, we're out of this paper now, let's go to a different paper. So May was a mixed month. It was probably the start, at least you could say, the beginning of the time when things started to get a little better for the channel. I guess for me as well. So, May, right? First things first, we started losing the attention of 4chan in that month. But, due to the fact that I decided to do a review of Muscle Monster energy drinks, which are very common in the weightlifting and bodybuilding community, so like a protein shake or something, I don't know. Because of that, we inadvertently restored 4chan's attention. Now, it wasn't for long, it was just, until those reviews were completed. But for the time being, we started losing their attention, then we inadvertently restored it yet again. And it seemed like this would be something that I would never be getting out of. But once those reviews were completed, their attention faded. You know, so it's that simple. So throughout the month, we were able to smooth and refine our upload schedule. So at first, you know, uploads may have been very erratic, but we're able to smooth it out and get an actual schedule going. And we're able to upload videos comfortably and consistently. So, you know, consistent, you know, that being, you know, we were able to upload a video about, you know, maybe 2 per week. But, you know, at a pace that was comfortable. Didn't feel like I was obligated to do anything. I did what I was comfortable with. And at the time, that was more than enough. So I was able to kind of find my little, I guess, niche, if you will. You know, find what I'm comfortable with, and I was able to stick with it. So starting in very late May, I gained the attention of yet another site. This site is one known as Tumblr, and it's kind of like a blog site. I am very rarely on that site. I don't have any, you know, accounts. So I don't know how any of these social media sites work, but I've visited it a few times. So I gained the attention of Tumblr. Now, Tumblr is like I guess a blog type site, as I said earlier, and we gained their attention. So going into June. June is very similar to May, minus the the 4chan attention at the beginning. So really, the main audience actually shifted in June from 4chan to users of the site known as Tumblr, and it was mostly attention from them that I was getting. And they were nicer than 4chan, but, you know, some of them were still inconsiderate. But just as I said with 4chan, we can't, you know, lump everyone together in this one big group and say, you know, everyone from 4chan is like this, everyone from Tumblr is like this. You're going to have a few bad people everywhere you go, and you're going to have a few good people everywhere you go. But sometimes it could be predominantly bad and predominantly good. Anyways. So, through the month of June, we were able to, you know, gain the, I gained the attention of Tumblr inadvertently. I guess it was just mostly like memes of me, I guess, you know, pictures of me, and that's like screenshots of me, like people took from reviews and stuff, and circulated it around the blogs, and people, I guess, what do they call it? Shared? Reblogged? There's some sort of term for it. Spread it throughout the site so that other people saw it. I guess, got a few laughs out of it. But, that was the main focus, I guess, on my channel at the time, from Tumblr. And in June, 2 years after the 2012 video, in mid to late June, I created the new Average Day video, which was very different from my 2012 Average Day video. It showed how my life and average day has changed, and clearly shows the predominant role that shortwave radio has in my life, and how things have changed and how I've changed as well over the years. And it was actually a very interesting video to make. Originally, with the Average Day video of 2014, I tried making it beforehand, but there was an issue making it, so I actually redid it live pretty much the same day it was to be uploaded. So that was kind of neat. A true reflection of my average day. So, let's see how many minutes we're at here. Well, we're going. I'm going to go through this a little faster because I've talked for a very, very long time. And I meant for this to be just a short little, 20-minute thing, but it's clearly longer. And, I'm not gonna complain. I'm not gonna say, oh, it's the end of the world. Yeah. No, it's alright. So we go into July. Now, early July, I wasn't even present. I was out in Hawaii for a week and a half. So I missed most of early July. But I did upload 2 reviews. I was able to try out this little setting. You kind of like you kind of put them on a timer almost, and they could upload at like a later date. So that's what we did. We were able to get 2 reviews up in early July while I was gone in Hawaii. So we got back and we decided to change production of videos again, the broadcast schedule, and we rapidly increased video production to the point which I was producing 1 video per day. So if you wanted to, in terms of views and consistency and all of that, if you wanted to say, alright, did you have like a golden age, in 2014, I would say, yeah, probably July, August, and September. But that's purely from a statistical standpoint and not a mental and comfort, standpoint. But just looking at it in terms of video production and, views and subscribers and activity, and what have you, I'd definitely say that July, August, and September were probably the busiest months of the year. So in July, as I said, I increased production of videos very rapidly. And I was producing 1 video per day through the entire month. Sometimes even 2 per day. It would be a VORW program and then a review. So maybe it would be one day I would put up a review, and then the next day a VORW, and then the next day another review, and so on and so forth. And that worked. At the time, it worked. Maybe I had a lot to talk about. Maybe I had a lot to review. But either way, it worked. The 1 video per day schedule, we were able to manage with it. I was comfortable with it at the time. So, of course, with that much content being spewed out, attention to the channel increased a little bit, and we received constant fan mail for the VORW program, sometimes as much as over 30 letters a day. I think that's actually really something that it was that many, but 30 letters a day, constant fan mail, constant reading. I was able to do lectures and all sorts of stuff. So clearly, in terms of production, July and August and September and even a little bit of early October was the highest point of that. So going into August, it's a continuation of July. Heavy video production. Heavy video production. Actually, with a large viewing audience as well. That's the truth. Other groups began to become attracted to the videos as well. Other communities. And I was able to still produce videos every single day for almost 3 months straight. It's a really heavy video production. It wasn't the report of the week anymore. It was pretty much the report of the day. I was spewing out stuff every single day. And that's clearly when I uploaded the bulk of the videos on my channel. Just massive amounts of content were produced every week throughout those months. But in late July, or late August, my apologies, I ran into some issues, some trouble. I like to call this 4chan's last hurrah, because really they're the last thing. But I again gained their attention, and it made me depressed. And even in late August, I had a very nice community at the time. I still do. I still have a beautiful, wonderful community here at the Report of the Week. But at the time, in August, I had a great community. I was putting up videos regularly. I was pretty satisfied. But, seeing all this stuff again brought back memories of earlier in the year, and it made me depressed. And I again contemplated closing the channel down. It again made me look. I said, what's the point anymore? Why bother? Should I shut it down? But I decided against it. And into September, we continued on. I changed my mind, and, we carried on and moved forward, and we moved into September. So in September, video production still was rapid. And in that time, we built up a massive backlog of videos. Now, a backlog of videos, we talked about that earlier, but a backlog of videos is when you produce more videos faster than you could upload them. Okay? So say, for instance, I produce a video every 2 days, yet I only upload 1 video per week. So in time, while I'll still be uploading videos, I'll end up piling up videos that are still waiting to be uploaded. And eventually you'll have a bunch left over and sitting there and waiting to be uploaded, and that amount will grow over time, assuming you don't change any rates. That's a backlog. And we're able to build up a massive backlog through September. And in September I decided to say, well, I have this massive backlog. I'm going to slow production a little bit of new content, yet, because I have this massive backlog of videos, it will allow for my upload rate to remain constant. So it was similar to a continuation of July and August, but in, I'd say, late September, I said I'm going to take a little breather and I'm going to let this backlog simmer down a little bit, because it was actually getting too big. There were just too many videos that I had to upload, so I decided to let it simmer down a little bit, and just decided to what have you. I just decided to take a little break, but let, because I have this big backlog, still be able to produce content, at will, or upload content at will. So into October we go. In October, we still had the high upload rate, and our backlog was actually, there were so many videos in this backlog of mine, we had enough content that I could just take a break from uploading videos for an entire month before I ran out. And because of that big backlog, that's what saved me come November. But we'll talk about that shortly. So first things first, in October, there was a big controversy. 2 videos of nearly the same item, same type of item, from the same fast food establishment, gained notoriety. That was the failed pulled pork sandwich review and the pulled pork cheese fries review. The failed pulled pork sandwich review really wasn't criticized. It was just a unique review, because I went up there with the expectation that I ordered a certain sandwich from Wendy's, that I'd be able to review it, and what happened, I looked at it, and that wasn't what we got. So I got the wrong item, and I had to deal with that on camera. So that was something. So that's what was the first video, and that gained attention because it had just never happened in Report of the Week history before. But it did happen then, of course. The second video was the more notorious one. It was the pulled pork cheese fries review. It gained harsh, and I actually underlined the word harsh here, harsh criticism. It's actually, I think, my most disliked review. No, I guess it's understandable. Apparently you were supposed to eat the cheese fries with a fork, but I was never supplied one, nor did I know that. And I tried to look it up, but I saw people eating it both with their hands and with a fork. But people didn't like that. It's just how it was. So I gained very harsh criticism from that. But we carried onward. A lot of people hated it. And even a few people came to hate me for that, of all things. But we carried on. We pressed on. And we moved through the month of October, still producing VORWs and newer and, I guess, more well-received reviews than, the pulled pork cheese fries review. So, late October, my health deteriorates. My health still isn't the best, but it's better than it was then. But I'm doing much better now than I was back in October and November. my health deteriorates. Very late October. Going to November, my health plummets. Constant, extreme pains in my stomach and intestines and what have you. Just constant pain, all sorts of issues everywhere. I can't even remember all of them. There were just so many. It was a different thing every single day. And it was just one issue after the other. And it was a very rough month for me. But, thanks to certain things, I was able to get through that month. And be able to actually make it through that month. Of all things, believe it or not, with all these health issues and being in constant pain and constant difficulties and issues, I was actually able to make it through that month happy, of all things. And that's really amazing. However, while I was able to be, happy in mind, unfortunately I wasn't able to produce that much content, and all production and uploads cease. In the month of November, I was able to film only one review and one VORW, and that was it. Just one of each, and that was it. So, from back in even early October and September, going from one video a day to just 2 videos in that month. 2 new videos in that month. Now in November, thanks to the big backlog that I had from the summer months, that was actually able to help keep the gears of this channel still turning, albeit very slowly. Our backlog eventually started to run out and started to get very low, but it was what I was able to still upload content very infrequently, and maybe only once every week and a half. But it was able to at least give something to keep this channel, just giving it a little push forward before it completely grinded to a halt. Now, of course, many people weren't used to the sudden stop in, production. But I was able to make a special announcement, a special VORW program. That was my health announcement, saying, my health hasn't been good. Don't expect stuff to really be uploaded that frequently. But I also mentioned, at the same time, okay, it may not be uploaded as frequently, but I shall still, let's move this, I shall still try my very best to keep this channel active and to keep things going. And once I was able to do that, most people realize, alright, something's wrong. He's not just doing this because he got sick of making videos or wasn't feeling it. Something was, not right in Review Bros, in the Report of the Week's life. So people were able to understand that. And that actually helped a lot. But we still were able to upload as frequently as we could, which wasn't that frequently, but we were able to keep things going at least until my health problems were able to lessen a little bit in December. So December, my health problems were able to get better and clear up a bit, though still, not perfect. Much better. So, we, pretty much decided, alright, we'll start making new content. The backlog's almost up anyways. So that's what we began doing. We began producing new content, and I began giving the date and time at each video so people knew that it was actually new, fresh content. So that's what we did, and that's what we were able to go with, and that's what was successful. So now we go into late December, It's Christmas. I had a beautiful, beautiful Christmas. I'm happy. I'm uploading VORWs and reviews. I have a little bit of a backlog going now of, around a few reviews. I think maybe 4 or 5 videos. So good enough, at least. And we're back to uploading stuff regularly. Though not as frequent as it once was, we're uploading content maybe once or twice a week. And that's what I'm satisfied with at the present. And that's where we are now. I'm happy with the channel. And most importantly, I'm happy with my life. So, where will 2015 bring us? Who knows? But at least what I can say for certain is that 2015 is being welcomed as a far better year than 2014. That's what I'm hoping. I know the beginning, at least, and hopefully the entirety of 2015 will be a very fine, a positive, and a beautiful year. Not just for this channel, The Report of the Week, but for myself, for my life, and also I wish each and every one of you a very prosperous and a very fine New Year's. So that concludes our year in review. A lot happened, some good and a lot of bad, but in the end we were able to make it through, and we were able to, carry on and press forward and push through 2014, and now here we are with 2015. Still 2014. It's New Year's Eve right now. The clock is ticking. It's going to be midnight very soon. And, what can I say? 2014 has been some year, but it ended very, very nicely. And that's what's important. And it's just a feeling. It's just a gut feeling. Sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong, but I just have a gut feeling that 2015 is going to be a good year. And I certainly hope it will be. And I hope all of you have the very best of years. Hope you all have a very happy new year. We'll see you in 2015. Thank you very much for listening. This is the Report of the Week, and this is VORW, the voice of the Report of the Week. Wishing you a very safe, happy, and healthy New Year's. Thank you all. Take care. We'll see you later. This is the voice of the Report of the Week, signing off.